Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening. Wait, do we have to wait for you? Okay, keep it rolling. That's what happens. That's live TV.
That's what we're talking about.
YouTube, whatever. We're not even going to do the intro now. Welcome back. Another episode of DIY Money.
DIY Money.
What's shaking, Logan?
I don't know. Now we're all thrown off. We got to get the energy. We got to get going.
Well, we have
What's
the
going
energy.
on in your world?
Well, I changed for this. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, you're like, wait a second, he's in shorts and a golf shirt. How could he change? Because I was in gym shorts and a T-shirt.
Dude, you are living your life.
Because I just came from the gym. It was awesome. I don't know how long this phase will last. I genuinely don't. I don't think it can last too long.
Yeah.
Because my day consists of such things, such inspiring, incredible things as today, for example, 45 minutes on the driving range, lunch with a previous student, a gym workout, coffee with a friend, sleeping in.
By the way, it's 3:30 on a Wednesday when we're cutting this.
Yeah, 3:30 on a Wednesday. And my day is glorious. Like, I'm like, how did I get anything done when I had a job?
Yep.
Oh, I did. I got something to talk about. Okay. Do you know how several episodes you said home ownership is just the continuous task of keeping water out of your house? Brother, I have had a corner of my house that I have battled.
Okay.
It's like, have you ever seen A Christmas Story?
Of course.
Okay. Do you know when he goes downstairs to battle the furnace? It's like his thing.
Yes.
The corner of the house is my thing. And when I'm losing, okay, I revert to a tarp that goes on the outside back of the house, so the water will go away from this corner and not end up in my basement, okay?
Yeah.
So it's like, I battle, I think I've got it, I put the carpet back, it rains, I go look.
Wet.
It's wet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. So today, and what's happening now is I have to remove, this is absurd, the culprit is I have this aesthetic brick wall off of my house, okay? And when I say aesthetic, it's not foundational, it's doing nothing. It's just and it's beautiful. I love it, okay? Except it has been sort of sinking, and it is separated from the house, and therefore there's a crack where water is getting in and ultimately running down the corner and into the basement.
So do you think this is a battle you can win now that you know?
So it is a multi-step process. I have laid it out into the 4 following steps, okay? This is after I've tried French drains, whatever drains, this drain, that drain, Austrian drain. I don't know. I'm just going to name countries now. All the drains, okay? Belgium drain. I don't know. Step number 1, absolutely remove aesthetic wall. My wife, got to remove it.
Oh, okay. And he's going to lose it.
Oh, she is losing it. Yeah. Now, I have said to her, and she doesn't listen to this podcast, so TBD on this. I said, no, we'll put it back. We'll build another one. Trees are cheaper, okay? Shouldn't know that yet, but we're going to go with that. Remove aesthetic wall, number 1.
Okay.
Number 2, I do need to get a structural person out because the entire side of that lawn and house is sinking. And I don't want it to impact the house.
Right.
Because it's already impacted that wall. I need structural, okay? That's a gazillion
Step
dollars.
2.
We're not even at millions or billions, gazillion dollars.
Yeah, no, we skipped ahead a couple of things.
Yeah. Number 3, I have to raise HVAC units on the outside, a furnace, outdoor air units. Because step number 4 is to regrade the area with said French, Belgium, Austrian drains.
Yeah.
Okay? Never will I have water in the corner again. That's the 4-step process.
And that is the beauty of home ownership.
A gazillion dollars at minimum. Like, what's the number? Gazillion?
A gazillion.
A gazillion.
Yeah, that's the only answer. Brutal.
So I'll keep people posted on that.
Please do.
It's going to be miserable.
Please do.
Absolutely miserable. So
if you get through all 4 of those steps, I will be amazed.
So here's why it made me think of it. Okay. And this is I'm glad you just brought this up. I also have brain fog now in this time. I always had it. You're laughing okay, Quint, this is new. Anyways, because when those things happen and you're working, it's an annoyance. You have to slot it in your day, run home and meet with a guy. Yeah, okay, do it, knock it out, and then hopefully it's solved until the next time, and it's just annoying. Now it's like the center of my world. like I am all things water displacement.
Nice.
Yeah.
Impressive.
So that's how it's different.
Well,
Like,
yeah, I mean, I walked into my kitchen the other day and our window was leaking. And I was like, okay, great, awesome. So I just like wiped up the water. I was like,
moving on. You're like, I can't deal with this
cannot
right now.
deal with it right now. So
and now it's not like when I bring somebody out, you know what I'm bringing them out for? Not a quote. Not yet.
You tell them.
No.
Yeah.
I want their opinion and ideas. Tell me your opinion on this. Tell me your ideas on this. Okay. All right. I'll take that into consideration. And then they look at me like, what are we doing? I was like, well, taking it into consideration. I might call you for a quote. I might not.
Impressive.
Mind you, I have the tarp. I can put out the tarp.
I have the tarp.
And I can tarp it for a while, and I don't need water in my basement. We got to get moving on.
We got to get to our question.
All right. We got classroom today. Back to the classroom.
And housekeeping and all the things.
Yeah, housekeeping, odds and ends. If you're not signed up for DIY Daily, it's fire and growing.
Yes.
And I love it. It goes out every day, 6:30-ish, 7-ish. It's still a manual push because I genuinely write it. So depending on, the time of day. But it does get to the inbox early in the morning. A great 3 or 4 paragraph overview of what matters in the market because there's always a lot of stuff.
For sure.
Hit us up on socials. Also, I mean, what is happening?
It's great.
It is fun, I'm really enjoying doing that sort of stuff. Hit us up on the socials, DIY Money Podcast, and send in questions. $1,000 question coming up at the end of the year. Tag your question, $1,000, boom, and we'll put it in the queue. And send in 2 because the one we don't think could win, we'll use today. Or we'll use
and you get a $25 Amazon gift card.
All right, let's take a quick break for our sponsors. All right, great. We're back. All right, back to the classroom. And here's what we're talking about today because this just happened, friend of a friend, and it always is completely unexpected. If you were expecting it, you would prepare, and this is a difficult subject matter to talk about, but we need to talk about it. Someone dies. They have no plan.
Yep.
Like no will, no, thought of where things are going to go. No, you name it. It's just bad. All right. Now, I want to clarify a couple things. Number one, we're not attorneys.
That's
all
right.
And we're dealing with estate law. We're dealing with probate law. And it
can vary a little bit state to state.
Absolutely vary state to state. And we'll tell you how it varies state to state. But so this is from an advisory perspective, one who's retired after 25 years, one who is in the practice every day. And so sort of the view of what happens and why it's so critical to have an actual will in place and ready to go should something happen to you. Why don't you kick us off?
Yeah, I think what we should talk about first is what that process looks like if you have no designation, and then we can talk about the key steps that we always encourage people to take. So if you have no designation on anything, so step 1 is designating accounts, where accounts would go to if you were to pass away. But if you have no designation on accounts, if it's your IRA, your bank accounts, your joint investment accounts that have or single investment accounts that have no designation, you're going to have to go through the probate process. Probate process just basically means you're going through the court system. So if you have accounts or property or assets that have to go through the court system, they're going to go into, you'll probably start by opening an estate account that you'll have to go down to a judge. You'll go through the process of being named the executor of this.
Let me pause real quick. This is assuming someone has a will.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
I want to make because we're going to talk about when someone doesn't have a will. So when you have a will, you have named an executor and executrix, male or female, okay? Now, the court recognizes it, interestingly enough, as what they call a personal representative. Now, there's this old idea that you could be dying in the woods, and with your last drop of blood, you could write on a tree what you wanted to have happen with your assets and so forth, and that would be your will, and the court would have to accept it. That is false. Now, I only know this from the state of Kentucky. Maybe in some states that's legal. I don't know. But in the state of Kentucky, you need 2 witnesses signing a will to actually make it legitimate. So this idea of a handwritten will that you shove in, oh, I did it, I made changes, I put it in my body, I was of sound mind and body, and if you contest this, you're getting nothing, and you put it in the drawer and you think that's, no, it's not.
Right.
Of course I'm going to recognize it. All right. But an actual will does two things. One, it designates where you want assets to go, and it also names an executor, an executrix, or what the court's known as personal representative. When you die, that personal representative goes down to the court, and they are, just because they have that document, like let's say they go to the bank and, it's mom passes and she has an account at the bank, and I go, well, I'm going to take care of this account. I show up at the bank with the will. The banker's going to look at you and go, okay, so what?
Right.
You'll be like, well, I'm named. It's been given to me. I'd like a check in my name. No, like, it's not happening. It's not the way it happens. Step number one, as Logan was saying, is you're going to take that document down to the court, the probate court. You are going to open a probate case, and you are going to be appointed a personal representative. You are going to be given a letter from the court that says you are the personal representative. And then from there, you don't take that to the bank and go, I'm the personal representative, please cut me a check. Nope. Also doesn't happen that way. Most people hire a lawyer at this point.
Yep.
They give up and they just start paying, the hourly rate. But if you want to do it yourself, which most people can, in my personal opinion, not a lawyer, but you would then open an estate account. You would get an EIN number from the government, go on the website, IRS website, get an EIN number for an estate account. You would take your personal representative form, the EIN number, and you would open an estate account, ESTATE, an estate account. And it's from that bucket where you would start filling that estate account with assets that did not have beneficiaries.
Yeah, exactly right. So those assets that don't have beneficiaries would then go into the estate account. And then according to the will, what the will lays out and who gets the money, that's how they'd eventually, and this is the part that is why people try to avoid probate through their estate planning process, is it takes time. You're normally hiring a lawyer, which costs money. This is going to be a process that plays out over a significant amount of time, and then it eventually gets to where you want the money to go. I don't really know this, Quint. What happens if you have no will, no document? Who becomes that personal representative?
Yeah, I'm going to touch on that in just a second, but I just want to drill in a little bit more. I think the nuances are really important. And I will say this: if you ever have someone in your life that's passed away, and you're named, like you're the person, and you're not an emotional train wreck, okay? Because if you're an emotional train wreck, hire a lawyer. Like, just be done with it. But it's Aunt Sue, who you haven't seen since you were 7 years old, since you're the only responsible one DIY listener in the family. She's like, I'm naming Joey as my personal representative, and you find out, and it sounds weird, it's a great experience for someone to go through and figure it out. And the court will help you. You don't, by law, have to hire an attorney. I don't know where this became a thing. You don't, by law, have to just hire an attorney to go through probate. So you can call the county clerk's office. You can say, I've been named in this will. What do I do? They will help you. Okay. You're going to, just not to skip through some steps in this process, if you actually are going through the probate process, as Logan said, assets are moving in to that, and in a short period of time, I think it's like 60 or 90 days, you will have to provide for the court an inventory of assets. Yep. Now, this is an important caveat. Anything that has a beneficiary designation does not go through probate. What is that? That would be insurance policies. That would be retirement accounts that had a beneficiary. That would be bank accounts that had a beneficiary. You get the gist? That's why in the advisory practice, at least I used to do this, and I know you do now, you try to have beneficiaries on everything.
All of it.
Why? So nothing goes through probate.
Right.
Okay. You would have to present an inventory. Then you have to look for creditors. You have to see what debts are outstanding and bills have to be paid. You do that from the estate account. By the way, credit cards, I know some people pay them. By law, it's an unsecured liability. You don't have to pay them. You just draft a letter, say, hey, so-and-so has passed away. Please close the account. They might send you a nasty letter back and be like, well, Aunt Sue owes $25,000 on this Discover card. And you can be like, well, go fly a kite. Again, not giving you legal advice. Check with your attorney, but credit cards are unsecured liabilities. Okay, you're going to take care of the debts. A lot of times, if it's a bigger estate, people will be like, you got to put what's called I think it's called a tombstone ad, but that doesn't sound right. That's actually during the IPO process. You got to place an ad in a newspaper, so-and-so passed away. Is there any creditors? Again, it's kind of a formal process, whether you do it or not, etc. You have to do your best job in making sure all the debts are paid. And then finally, you can petition the court to disperse the assets to where the individual really wanted them to go.
Yep.
Now, you can bypass this whole process having beneficiaries. Assuming someone doesn't have that, they die in what's called intestate, I-N-T estate, okay? Just whatever. Intestate. And it's a similar process, but you or someone needs to go down to the court and say, Aunt Sue died. She had nothing. And what they will do is they will look for the closest living relative to basically be named as the personal representative. Now, if they cannot find one, there are actually court-appointed attorneys whose job it is to step in to play this role. That is a common thing. And believe it or not, it happens more often than you think. But you don't want that to happen, especially if you have kids, because in the will, you are actually going to name guardianship over kids, and you don't want that to happen.
For sure.
It's a mess. It becomes a mess. I've never personally gone through it. I've just told someone at that point, listen, you probably do want to hire an attorney. Make sure you are getting, if you think you would have been the one personally representative or, appointed, you work hard to get appointed and so on and so forth. And then once you're appointed and you can go through the process, it's, again, similar. But what a pain in the butt that is.
It is. So I think that's a great way to break it down and really explain the process from start to finish. Now, how do you avoid putting a lot of assets through that? We'll talk about trusts in a minute. You can go back and listen to lots of episodes where we've talked about this. There's a great search feature on our website if you want to check that out at DIYmoney.org. We talk about this constantly. But the beneficiary designation is super important. I have been on a mission lately to not only have people have a primary beneficiary, which is where you name in your accounts, whether that's an IRA, an individual retirement account, a 401k, or a bank account, who your first person is that this money would go to if you passed away. It avoids the probate process. It goes out and transfers out completely separate from that. And it's a pretty quick process. Normally what happens, for instance, at Charles Schwab, is the beneficiary is going to bring over a death certificate. They would provide the death certificate to Charles Schwab or the bank or whoever holds these assets.
I want to interject. Death certificates are typically issued by the funeral home.
Yes.
Keep going.
Yes, and normally you get a stack of them. You get 15, 20 of them because you're going to have to do this with multiple places. So you would provide the death certificate, then the company, bank, whatever, is going to open up an account for the beneficiaries that these are going to go to. You'd have to sign paperwork for that, whoever the beneficiaries are, and then they distribute the assets to those accounts. That's a lot easier and quicker of a process than what you just explained. So the primary beneficiary is the first person named. If for some reason, let's say it was you and a spouse, both passed away at the same time, it's very important to have the contingent beneficiaries named, which just means exactly what it sounds like it means. If both you and the primary beneficiary pass away at the same time, it would go then to the contingent beneficiaries, and they would have to go through the exact same process to get that money and distribute to them.
A lot of people set things up when they're married jointly, and a spouse passes and everything moves without probate very simply over to the other individual. And a lot of times they might have like a car or, something small, and they call the court, and the court's like, well, how much is the car worth? And they're like, I don't know, like $5,000. And how much is in the bank account that this individual had? Oh, I don't know, a few $1,000. And the probate court says, oh, you can just file to dispense those. You don't even need to open a probate case, et cetera. And so they sort of come to this false sense of security that, oh my goodness, well, this was super easy. Like all this just came to me. this is all going to easily go to the kids or whatever when I die. And they're like, what do people cause, why are there so many issues? Why do people get all up in arms about this? Because it was already joint and it gave them that false sense of security. Now they're single and that joint ownership or beneficiaries are gone.
Yep.
And so they want to go through the same process. For example, my mother has my sister and I as beneficiaries on everything she has, so that upon her passing, it goes to her or me. Now, we don't have a lot of contingents. We need to do that. However, we have it written, so it's going to my living trust, yada, yada, and then it would go to my kids through trust and so on and so forth. So I think we have it pretty well taken care of. But upon my mother's passing, there will be no probate at all. Like, she won't have an estate, period, according to the court system. So we would, do nothing, I guess, in that instance. So it's something to be aware of. It's something to learn more about, consult with an attorney, and you can get a will a variety of places. Again, I'm not an attorney. I'm not going to, throw shade on a website or not, but I will say, get something in place, make sure it's legal, understand it, that you're comfortable with it, make sure your personal representative knows that they're your personal representative and that they know where the will is. And you'll be set.
Love it.
All right. Great way to kind of close the show. Hopefully you found some value in that. Every once in a while, we'll kind of put a pause on the questions and talk about something that's front of mind. This was a great subject matter. But again, keep the questions coming. Send them to podcast@DIYmoney.org. That's podcast@DIYmoney.org. If we use it on the show, we'll send you a $25 Amazon gift card. Remember, the secret to success is wealth. I am all over the place. The secret to wealth is pretty simple. Live on less than you make. Invest the rest and do so for a very long time. Make it a great one.